Chosen one, open this message right now and listen to the end before it disappears in the next 35 seconds. Because God is trying to reach you at this very moment. This is not random. This is not just another video passing across your screen. This is a divine interruption. Heaven is cutting through the noise, through the delay, through the confusion, through the pressure that has been sitting on your chest. And God is calling for your attention now. You may have been fighting battles you never told anyone about. You may have smiled in front of people while carrying exhaustion, disappointment, and spiritual heaviness in secret. But hear this clearly, God has not lost sight of you. He has seen every tear, every silent prayer, every night you almost gave up, every moment you wondered if the weight was too much. And this is why this message found you, because the enemy has been trying to convince you that you are stuck, forgotten, disqualified, and too late. But that is not the truth. The truth is that something is shifting around you right now. Something is breaking in the spirit. What tried to bury you will not be able to hold you. What tried to delay you will not be able to define you. This is the hour where God reminds you who you are. You are not ordinary. You are not overlooked. You are not fighting alone. You are the chosen one, set apart for a purpose that hell could not cancel and darkness could not destroy. That is why the pressure has been so intense. That is why the warfare has been so personal. The attack was never proof that you were abandoned. It was proof that your calling carries weight. So do not scroll away. Do not ignore this moment. Stay here and listen carefully, because what God is about to reveal next will explain why this battle has been so fierce and why He will not let you fail this assignment. If this message is already speaking to your spirit, comment 777 below, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs this word before the enemy talks them out of their destiny. You did not find this word by accident. And the pressure surrounding your life is not your imagination. Something in the spirit has been trying to wear you down because heaven knows what is attached to your obedience. God is making it clear right now that this battle is not yours alone. What has been fighting you has not only been resisting your peace, your strength, or your progress. It has been resisting the purpose of God moving through your life. That is why the warfare has felt so personal. That is why the discouragement has come in waves. That is why the enemy has tried to isolate you, cloud your thoughts, and make you question whether you truly heard from God at all. But listen carefully. The Lord has seen every hidden blow, every exhausting delay, every moment you kept going when no one knew how tired you really were. Heaven has not been silent because heaven has abandoned you. Heaven has been watching, measuring, and preparing the hour when God steps into the middle of your struggle and says, "Enough." This is that kind of moment. This is the kind of hour where God reminds you that when He calls someone, He does not stand at a distance and watch them collapse. He upholds what He appoints. He strengthens what He sends. He defends what carries His mark. Scripture says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand, Isaiah 41:10. That is not a vague promise for somebody else. That is a living word for you right now. You have been held together by more than your own strength. You have survived by more than human endurance. There has been a hand on your life even in the moments you thought you were barely breathing through the pain. And what makes this so serious is that the enemy wanted you to misread the battle. He wanted you to think the intensity meant defeat was coming, when in reality, the intensity was revealing how close you are to movement, to breakthrough, to divine intervention. God has not brought you this far to let you fall apart at the edge of your assignment. He did not preserve you through past seasons just to leave you unsupported in this one. No, He is drawing a line in the spirit. He is reminding you that your tears were seen, your cries were heard, and your future is still under His hand. So tell me in the comments, how many times did you almost give up? But God somehow kept you standing. And if this word is confirming what your spirit has been feeling, right, God kept me standing. Because what is coming next will show you why your pain was never wasted. What you have been calling loss was never just loss. And what you have been calling delay was never just delay. It was formed under pressure. It was fire with purpose. It was God allowing the breaking of what could not go where He is taking you. You thought you were being buried, but heaven says you were being planted. You thought the silence meant abandonment, but in the spirit, something far more serious was happening. God was stripping off every false support, every illusion, every fragile place in you that could not survive the weight of the calling on your life. This is why the battle became so intense. This is why the pain reached places in you no one else could touch. This is why the nights became so heavy and the tears came without warning. Because your future is not small, and what is on your life cannot be carried by a weaker version of you. Hear this clearly. The enemy did not come after you this hard for no reason. Hell does not waste that much pressure on an empty life. The resistance became violent because your assignment is costly, sacred, and dangerous to darkness. That is why you have felt pulled between exhaustion and urgency, between wanting to disappear and knowing deep down that something in you still refuses to die. And that is the point. What God placed in you will not die. It may be bruised. It may be tired. It may have gone through seasons where it could barely breathe under the weight of disappointment, betrayal, confusion, and spiritual fatigue. But it will not die. C.S. Lewis once wrote, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world in the problem of pain. And that is exactly why this season has felt so loud in your soul. God has been waking you up, not destroying you. He has been confronting every place where fear tried to rename you, every place where rejection tried to reduce you, every place where delay tried to convince you that your time had passed. No, your time has not passed. The truth is more severe than that, and more glorious than that. You have entered a moment where you can no longer afford to misread your suffering. If you keep calling preparation punishment, you will hesitate at the very threshold of your breakthrough. If you keep calling refinement rejection, you will shrink back from the very assignment you were born to carry. This is serious now. The cost of unbelief is no longer small. The cost of shrinking back is no longer private. Too much has been invested in your making. Too many prayers have covered your life. Too many battles have already been survived for you to stand at this edge and call yourself forgotten. You are not forgotten. You are being forged. You are being sharpened. You are being made dangerous to every lie that once ruled you. So do not insult your survival by calling it random. Do not insult your endurance by calling it luck. Do not insult the hand of God on your life by thinking you came through all of that only to fail now. No. The pain had purpose. The crushing had a purpose. The breaking had a purpose. And what comes next will reveal that every wound was being forced to serve the will of God in your life. C. Lewis's line is widely attributed to the problem of pain, and it is also echoed by the C. Set. Lewis Institute and the official C. Seth. Lewis site. Chosen one. You were not marked by heaven so you could live beneath your calling. Apologize for your light, or spend your life second-guessing the very purpose God placed inside you. You were set apart. That is the truth the enemy has been trying to keep from you. Because if you ever fully see yourself the way heaven sees you, you will stop negotiating with fear, stop bowing to delay, and stop treating your assignment like a possibility when it is in fact a divine command. You have asked God for signs, for confirmation, for one more moment of certainty. But what if the intensity of the battle was the confirmation? What if the pressure was never proof that you were outside the will of God, but proof that your life carries something hell recognizes, even when you are still learning to recognize it yourself? You were not picked by accident. You were not spared by accident. You were not preserved through all that pain, all that confusion, all that hidden warfare by accident. The hand of God has been on you for longer than you realize. And that hand did not keep you alive just to watch you settle into fear. Scripture says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua 1:9. That is not just comfort. That is a charge. That is heaven confronting the timid version of you and calling the real you forward, because the real you is not the one fear created. The real you is not the one disappointment silenced. The real you is the one God knew before the attack, before the betrayal, before the delay, before the voices that tried to make you feel small. And now, heaven is calling that self to rise. There is a mark on your life that suffering could not erase, rejection could not cancel, and delay could not corrupt. You are carrying a purpose that cannot be fulfilled by someone else. There is a sound in your voice, a weight in your obedience, a door attached to your yes that no one else can open in the way you can. That is why this hour is so serious. If you continue to see yourself through the lens of your wounds, you will keep shrinking in a season that requires boldness. If you keep measuring your future by your former pain, you will misjudge the magnitude of what God is trying to bring forth through you. So hear this with all your spirit. You are not merely being comforted in this message. You are being summoned. Summoned out of hesitation. Summoned out of self-doubt. summoned out of the old identity that was built in survival mode. God is not asking you to become someone else. He is calling you to finally become who He already declared you to be. Do you believe you were called for more than survival? Then write in the comments, I was chosen on purpose. Because what comes next will confront every delay that tried to define your name. What delayed you was never given permission to define you. And that is the line heaven is drawing right now. Too much of your life has been spent standing in rooms built by fear, staring at closed doors, rehearsing disappointments, questioning whether the waiting meant you had missed God, missed your moment, or somehow fallen behind beyond recovery. But listen carefully, because this must break off you now. Delay is not your identity, and disappointment is not your name. What did not happen when you thought it should have happened was not the burial of your purpose. It was not proof that the promise had expired. It was not evidence that heaven changed its mind about you. It was the painful, hidden stretching of a life that was being prepared to carry more than it could have carried before. Some things had to be delayed because you were still becoming the person who could stand under the weight of what you asked for and not collapse when it finally arrived. And yes, that process hurt. It hurt to watch others move while you stood still. It hurt to keep praying while answers seemed late. It hurt to keep showing up when your strength felt thin and your heart felt bruised. But what was being forged in that hidden place was not weakness. It was stamina. It was discernment. It was spiritual muscle. It was the slow death of the false version of you that depended on visible progress to feel secure. God was teaching you to stand when there was no applause, to believe when there was no evidence, to keep moving when there was no clarity except His voice. That is why you cannot afford to look at your past seasons and call them wasted. They were severe, but they were sacred. They were slow, but they were necessary. And now the hour has come to say with conviction, what slowed me down will not write my future. What wounded me will not rule me. What left me will not lessen me. What did not open then will not stop what God is opening now. There is a holy refusal rising in your spirit, and it must rise stronger than every memory that tried to teach you hopelessness. Even in the middle of dark waters, the whisper still comes, clear and steady, courage. Dear heart, see, Tisek. Lewis placed those words in the voyage of the Dawn Treader, and they carry the sound of heaven for this moment in your life. Because courage is not the absence of pain, it is the refusal to let pain have the final word. So do not bow to the old timeline. Do not worship the old disappointment. Do not keep introducing yourself by what did not happen. You are not the person who was delayed. You are the person who was developed. And what God has been building in secret is about to confront everything that once made you doubt whether you would ever rise. You are not entering this next season lacking what heaven requires. You are not standing at the edge of your assignment as someone empty, forgotten, or unequipped. That fear has lied to you long enough. The truth is far stronger than what your exhaustion has been telling you. God has already placed within you what this hour will demand from you. Before the pressure increased, He knew. Before the warfare intensified, He knew. Before the door began to move, before the resistance tried to make you retreat, before the questions filled your mind late at night, God had already prepared provision for every part of this journey. He does not call and then abandon. He does not appoint and then withdraw. He does not send his own into battle without oil, without strength, without covering, without direction. Everything this calling will require has already been measured by the hand of God. That means the strength you need is not coming someday far away. It is already being awakened inside you. The wisdom you need is not missing. The discernment you need is not beyond reach. The endurance you need is not something the enemy can steal. Heaven has already accounted for the cost of your obedience. Scripture says, "His divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness." 2 Peter 1:3. That is the word for this moment. All things. Not some things. Not enough to begin, but not enough to finish. All things. Everything necessary for your assignment has been attached to the grace on your life. That is why the enemy has tried so hard to make you feel deficient. If he cannot remove the calling, he will try to make you doubt your capacity to carry it. If he cannot stop the plan of God, he will try to exhaust your mind until you start disqualifying yourself. But the devil is a liar. And this season will not be governed by your fear. It will be governed by what God has already spoken. You have more in you than the last season revealed. You have more authority than the pressure allowed you to feel. You have more resilience than the pain allowed you to see. And now, heaven is bringing you into a moment where what was hidden in you must begin to rise. The grace is there. The provision is there. The strength is there. The help is there. The timing is there. God has already packed your spirit for the road ahead. And nothing essential has been left out. So what do you need God's strength for most right now? Write it in the comments without fear. Because what comes next is the moment where your yes begins to shake everything but tried to stand against you. Your yes is no longer a small thing. It is not a private decision floating in isolation, hidden from consequence, untouched by the lives around you. What heaven has placed on you carries weight beyond you. And that is why this hour feels so charged, to so urgent, so alive with pressure. The enemy wanted you to believe that your hesitation only affected you, that your silence was harmless, that your delay was manageable, that your shrinking back was just a personal struggle with no greater cost. But that is not true. There are people tied to your obedience. There are doors tied to your courage. There are breakthroughs tied to your willingness to rise when fear tells you to stay small. This is why the battle became so personal. Because darkness understood what your yes would unlock before you did. It is understood that when you finally stop negotiating with doubt, something begins to move, not only in your life, but in the lives of others who are waiting for the light, strength, wisdom, and healing God intends to release through you. You have cried over what felt delayed, but what if heaven has been waiting for your full agreement? What if this is the moment where your spirit stops dragging its feet and starts aligning with what God has already declared? Because once you say yes with your whole heart, you will not merely feel better. You will shift the atmosphere. You will break patterns. You will interrupt cycles that have ruled your bloodline, your mind, your confidence, your future. Your obedience carries consequences far beyond your comfort. Your surrender carries power far beyond your emotions. And your willingness to rise now carries a ripple effect you cannot yet measure. That is why you cannot keep treating this like an optional moment. This is not just about surviving another season. This is about stepping into the place where your life begins to make sense at a level deeper than explanation. The pain, the pruning, the waiting, the hiddenness, it was all pressing you toward this edge. This holy crossroads, where heaven asks you one thing: will you agree with God about who you are? Or will you keep agreeing with fear? Will you keep calling yourself delayed when God calls you appointed? Will you keep calling yourself weak when heaven calls you equipped? Will you keep calling yourself overlooked when God says you were marked, preserved, and carried for such a time as this? The world does not need a smaller version of you. It does not need the edited, muted, hesitant version fear created. It needs the surrendered version, the awake version, the burning version, the version of you that finally understands that obedience is not punishment, it is access. It is movement. It is the opening of things that could not open while you were still doubting the hand of God on your life. So hear this, and hear it deeply. Your yes matters now more than ever. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, not when every question is answered. Now, because the moment you agree with heaven, the things that have been waiting on your obedience will begin to move. You carry more than you realize. And heaven is calling you to stop measuring yourself by what you have suffered and start recognizing what you have been entrusted with. For too long, you have looked at your life through the lens of exhaustion, delay, rejection, and hidden battles. And because of that, you have underestimated the weight of what God placed inside you. But this is the moment where that blindness must break. You are not just someone trying to recover from pain. You are not just someone trying to make it through another difficult season. You are carrying a sacred weight, a living deposit, a divine imprint that was never meant to remain buried under fear. There is something on your life that changes the atmosphere. There is something in your obedience that creates movement. There is something in your voice, your survival, your surrender, your faithfulness that reaches farther than you can currently see. This is why the enemy has worked so hard to keep you trapped in self-doubt. If he can keep you feeling small, he can keep you from walking in the authority that was already placed on you. If he can keep you staring at your wounds, he can keep you from recognizing your oil. But the truth is rising now, and it is confronting every lie that taught you to think of yourself as ordinary. C.S. Lewis wrote in The Weight of Glory, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal. And if that is true of every human soul, how much more must you understand the seriousness of a life marked by the hand of God for a holy assignment? You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not a leftover from someone else's story. You carry eternal weight. You carry influence you have not fully seen. You carry a light that has survived storms that should have put it out. And because you carry that kind of weight, you cannot keep treating your calling casually. You cannot keep standing at the edge of obedience as though your presence on the earth makes no real difference. It does. When you rise, something shifts. When you obey, something opens. When you refuse to bow to fear, something in the spirit is forced to move. The people around you may not fully understand what rests on your life yet, and there may be moments when even you do not understand it. But heaven understands it. That is why you have been preserved. That is why you have been pulled through fire and not consumed. God does not preserve empty vessels. He preserves what carries purpose. So lift your eyes higher now. Stop speaking about yourself like someone had forgotten. Stop reducing your future to the size of your recent pain. There is more on your life than you realize, and the next moment will reveal why that weight is not meant to crush you, but to announce you. This is the moment of acceleration, the moment where what has been still begins to move, where what has been delayed begins to answer, where what has been locked begins to open under the hand of God. You have stood in places that felt unmoving for so long that part of you learned how to survive without expecting change. You learned how to endure silence, how to carry unanswered questions, how to keep showing up even when nothing around you seemed to shift. But this is not the same moment anymore. Something is changing now, and it is changing with force. Heaven is not merely comforting you in this hour. Heaven is setting things in motion. The season of hidden preparation is colliding with the season of visible movement. And when those two meet under the will of God, acceleration begins. What you could not force in your own strength, God is about to move by His power. What you could not open by striving, He is about to open by favor. What did not respond to your panic will respond to His timing. This is why you must guard your spirit now. Do not speak as if the old season is still in charge. Do not pray like the door is still shut forever. Do not think that the silence still has the final word. The silence was never final. The delay was never final. The resistance was never final. God was preparing a movement that your natural eyes could not yet measure. Scripture says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 2:9-11. That means your future was not left to chance, not handed over to fear, not abandoned to the mercy of what tried to break you. There is a plan, and that plan is still alive over your life. This acceleration is not chaos. It is alignment. It is what happens when your yes meets the timing of God. It is what happens when obedience catches up with preparation and heaven breathes on what once looked impossible. Things that were scattered will begin to gather. Strength that felt drained will begin to return. Clarity that seemed distant will begin to sharpen. Doors that once looked sealed will begin to respond. And no, this does not mean every step ahead will be easy, but it does mean you are no longer standing in the same kind of season. You are crossing out of prolonged pressure and into divine movement. You are stepping out of waiting without understanding and into movement with purpose. What is about to happen will not merely make your life easier, it will confirm that the hand of God was on you the whole time. This is why you cannot afford to retreat now. This is why you cannot afford to speak defeat over the very threshold of breakthrough. God is moving. Favor is moving. Timing is moving. The future is moving. What has been waiting for your agreement with heaven is beginning to answer. And once it begins, the things that used to resist you will no longer have the same authority they once had. So lift your head, strengthen your spirit, refuse the language of defeat. You are not watching your life fall apart. You are watching old resistance lose its grip, while divine movement takes over. And what comes next will demand not fear, but a crossing. No more hesitation. No more standing at the edge of obedience while fear keeps asking for one more delay. One more sign. One more reason to wait. This is the crossing moment. This is the hour where you stop calling your retreat wisdom and start seeing it for what it has been, a battle over your agreement with God. Because the truth is, you do not need more proof that He has called you. You need the courage to move like you believe Him. The enemy has tried to keep you suspended between revelation and action, between promise and movement, between what you know in your spirit and what you have been too afraid to step into. But that season must end here. God is not asking you to have every detail. He is not demanding that you feel no fear, no pressure, no trembling. He is asking for your yes in the middle of it. He is asking you to move while trusting that His hand will meet you in motion. That is how crossings happen. Waters do not always part before the first step. Sometimes they part because the first step was taken. So stop waiting to feel like a different person. Stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect setup, the perfect moment. The moment is now. And the person God is calling forward is not some future version of you. It is you. Right here. After the pain. After the delay. After the stretching. After the hidden warfare, this is the version of you heaven has been preparing. Step forward now. Step out of the old agreement with fear. Step out of the habit of shrinking back. Step out of the voice that keeps telling you that you are not ready. You are ready enough to obey. And obedience will reveal what hesitation never could. On the other side of this yes is movement. On the other side of this yes is clarity. On the other side of this yes is the confirmation you have been begging God for. But it will not be found in retreat. It will be found in crossing. So hear this deeply. Do not turn back now. Do not slow down at the threshold. Do not let the final resistance talk you out of the very thing heaven has been bringing you toward. Cross over now. Because the next thing God does in your life will not be for the fearful version of you, but for the surrendered one. This is your final charge in this moment. Do not leave this word unchanged. Do not hear it. Feel it. And then return to the small, fearful, hesitant version of yourself that this message came to confront. Something holy has reached for you here. Something eternal has pressed against your spirit. Not to entertain you, not to comfort you for a moment, but to call you into agreement with what God has already spoken over your life. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not disqualified by the pain you survived or the seasons you barely made it through. God has not kept you alive, covered you, corrected you, and carried you this far just to let your assignment die in your hands. No, the same hand that preserved you is the hand that will sustain you. The same voice that called you is the voice that will continue to lead you. The same God who watched over you in hidden seasons will watch over you in the season of movement now beginning to unfold. So stand up in your spirit. Let fear hear your silence no more. Let doubt lose its place in your mouth. Let delay lose its authority over your identity. You have crossed too much to keep calling yourself weak. You have survived too much to keep speaking like you are abandoned. You have been brought to this hour because heaven still intends to do something powerful through your life. And what God intends, darkness cannot cancel. This is your moment to declare that you will not keep shrinking, will not keep apologizing for your calling, will not keep bowing to old resistance. You are ready to move. You are ready to obey. You are ready to step into what God has been preparing in secret. And hear this clearly as this message closes. God will not let this assignment fail in your hands if you stay yielded, awake, and willing before Him. The battle was fierce because the calling is real. The pressure was heavy because the oil on your life is real. The preservation was undeniable because the future on your life is real. So if you receive this word with your whole heart, comment 777 and declare, I will not fail my assignment. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear that their season is not ending in defeat, but in divine movement